Focus on the things that will make you sound native, like you know what you're doing with the language, even if you don't yet. If there's a language you want to learn, the best thing would be to actually go to that country and immerse yourself in the culture, be with natives as much as you can. You're going to pick up the language a lot faster. But if you don't have the time or the funds to go to that country yet, then my tips are going to help you learn any language you want in a month. I'm going to put on lip gloss because my lips are looking crusty on this camera. So this is mainly going to be for languages that have a Latin root, like French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. You're probably like, who's this girl with her London accent? What can she teach us? Listen, I came to London when I was in year 4 and I couldn't speak a word of English because I had come from France, we'll say my country. So French is my mother tongue, but English is my second language, and Spanish, we'll say, is my third language. You know, I can't talk to you about politics or anything like that, anything más difícil que eso. No puedo. Anyway, enough about me. My first tip would be to learn the alphabet sounds. I know this sounds really basic, learning the alphabet, learning numbers and everything, but I'm not really saying just learn the alphabet off by heart. Learn the sound, how each letter is said, how a combination of letters are said by natives. For example, when I went to Spain, I was in Valencia. Nobody says Valencia, especially if you go to Valencia. They say Valencia. They don't pronounce V's. It's like a mixture of V and B. The C is like on some words. So it just makes you sound more fluent, knowing how the letters actually sound.
One thing I will say is don't feel shy or embarrassed when you're trying to sound fluent. Even if it doesn't feel comfortable yet, that's the best way that you're going to improve in the language.
My second tip would be learn the tenses. Present, maybe take one day to learn the present, or maybe a week, however long you want to do it. The past, the future. Really learn tenses, especially for Latin-based languages.
While learning the tenses, it'll make it easier for you to grasp the sentence structure of any language you're trying to learn.
And then once you've done the basic tenses, you can do things that are more complicated, like conditional, reflexive verbs. And maybe as you're going through tenses, if you have questions like, why is this word this way? Why is that word that way? You can set it to another day. You can set it to the after I've done all the tenses day or week or whatever.
I would move your questions to another day if you're in a rush to learn the language, but otherwise, try to answer any questions that pop up in the moment. It makes the learning process more gradual and enjoyable.
So alphabet sounds, learning tenses. In most Latin languages, you will have a formal speech and an informal speech, like in some Asian languages as well. And in a lot of languages, you have formal way of saying things and informal. It's just in England, we just talk to everybody the same way. So if you don't know the difference between formal and informal speech, for example, in French, you'll have tu or vous, and it depends who you're talking to. If it's a friend or if it's a colleague or an elder, you'll probably say vous instead of tu. Okay, these are my favorite tips because it actually puts action into what you've been learning, the alphabet, your tenses, your formal, informal speech, the little questions you build up over time. Learn a song, read a book, watch a show. At least one. You don't even have to do 30, one every day. Just do one. Just do one song, one book, and one show. But don't watch the show like you're watching the show. Watch the show, stop on sentences you don't understand, have the subtitles.
Using the subtitles in the language you're trying to learn, I think, is more beneficial because you have the written form of the words as well as the pronunciation through the acting. You can pause the video and look up the word and translate it into your native language, whether it's English or not. You could also pause the video to repeat the word as it was said by the actor or actress.
In the description box below, I'm going to have a few songs for Spanish, Italian, Portuguese and French if you're thinking of learning a song in those languages. Read a book. I have read the same book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coehlo. I've read it. I already think I'm fluent in Portuguese. I've read it in English, French, Spanish, and now I'm gonna actually read it in Portuguese. I love that book. Anyway, I'm gonna put books in all the Latin languages that I kind of have some awareness of, and a show as well. So you have some pick and you can start learning any Latin-based languages you want and be well on your way to fluency in 1 month. I want you to comment down the language you want to learn, the date you started, and the goals you have for yourself in that language. And better know that a month from the date you comment down, I will reply to your comment and be like, where you at? Hablas español? Est-ce que tu parles français maintenant? Do you speak English fluently? Fala português? We shall see. We shall see. Hasta pronto. Salut.